This is your heart on e-cigarettes. Vapors, beware, nicotine, formaldehyde, and other chemicals in e-cigarettes could not only damage your heart, some may also cause cancer. E-cigarettes are gaining in popularity, in part because they lack the dangerous smoke, tar, and carbon monoxide of traditional smokes. But could they still damage your heart? Health advocates around the world, from the American Heart Association to the World Health Organization, are calling for stricter e-cigarette regulations because of possible heart and lung health risks. In a study published in January 2015 in the New England Journal of Medicine, researchers found that the lifetime cancer risk of using e-cigarettes long-term is estimated to be 5 to 15 times higher than that of smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, due to the toxic substance formaldehyde in the e-cig vapor. Long-term safety remains an open question for the new devices, and public appetite has run ahead of health science. The connections between smoking and heart disease and stroke in particular are well established. But turning to e-cigarettes for a nicotine fix will not erase your heart health risks. E-cigarettes have nicotine, and nicotine has dangerous cardiovascular effects, explains cardiologist John D. Day, MD, Director of Heart Rhythm Specialists at Intermountain Heart Institute in Murray, Utah. This is because nicotine narrows the arteries in the heart and throughout the body, he says. Over time, this can cause serious harm to the cardiovascular system and lead to heart attacks, strokes, and heart failure, Day warns. E-cigarettes aggravate heart diseases. An e-cigarette is a nicotine delivery system, says Elliot Antman, MD, professor of cardiovascular medicine at Harvard Medical School in Boston. Nicotine is known to increase heart rate and increase blood pressure. This is risky business for people who already have an irregular heartbeat or dangerously high blood pressure. People with coronary artery blockages and people with congestive heart failure could be made worse by exposure to nicotine. They might develop chest pain or increased symptoms of heart failure, says Dr. Antman. And a person with an arrhythmia, atrial fibrillation, for example, could have an episode provoked by nicotine, cautions Antman. In a confined space, second-hand vapor could also expose people to nicotine, something they would not want to be exposed to. The precise way that nicotine changes heart function is a mystery. William T. Abraham, MD, Director of the Division of Cardiovascular Medicine and Professor of Internal Medicine at Ohio State University in Columbus, says, nicotine causes sympathetic neural stimulation which, in turn, may raise blood pressure and heart rate. Controversial evidence suggests that nicotine may disrupt the lining of blood vessels, Dr. Abraham adds, which may predispose users to the development of atherosclerotic plaques, hardening of the arteries, in blood vessels. Related, e-cigarette kit, to puff or not to puff? Dangerous chemicals are in the e-cigarette mix. Consumers can choose from a dizzying array of possibilities among hundreds of brands and thousands of different flavors of e-cigarettes, and it's impossible to know what exactly you are about to inhale into your lungs. Antman says that because e-cigarettes haven't been regulated, we don't know what is in the product. In addition to nicotine, other, sometimes undisclosed chemicals in e-cigarettes have health experts concerned. The artificial flavors and chemicals in these products are not yet FDA regulated or controlled in any way, but some are linked to disease. One known ingredient is propylene glycol, a dangerous chemical. Propylene glycol is particularly a risky substance to take into the body, cautions Day. He notes that propylene glycol is broken down to a toxin called propionaldehyde, which is known to cause liver damage. Propionaldehyde is also used in the manufacturing process of plastics, says Day. This is definitely not something someone would want to willingly consume. Nicotine is known to increase heart rate and increase blood pressure. Elliot Antman, MD tweet further clinical studies on e-cigarettes are sorely needed. The problem is that the research is incomplete. The explosion of marketing has outpaced the science about what we know, says Antman. Some disturbing reports show that formaldehyde can be produced. Formaldehyde is known to be a carcinogen, or to cause cancer. New analysis has shown that the amount of formaldehyde exposure from e-cigs is particularly high when they're lit at high voltage using a variable voltage battery. Until more is known about the potential health risks of e-cigarettes, it's probably best to avoid them unless your alternative is tobacco cigarettes that have well-known health risks, notes Abraham. How to kick the nicotine habit. Getting the United States to the American Heart Association's goal of a tobacco-free society will be harder as e-cigarettes gain hold in the marketplace. Leading health groups are weighing in on the scope of the problem and possible solutions. A Centers for Disease Control and Prevention study published in August 2014 in the journal Nicotine and Tobacco Research found that the numbers of middle school and high school kids on e-cigarettes tripled from 2011 to 2013. A recent policy statement of the American Heart Association published in August 2014 in the journal Circulation calls for strong, swift steps to regulate e-cigarette products in order to prevent sales to young people not yet hooked on nicotine. As of August 2016, it's illegal in the United States to sell e-cigarettes to those younger than 19, due to new FDA regulations. This is a very important policy statement for the American Heart Association to make. A whole new generation of Americans could become addicted. In the past 50 years, 20 million died because of tobacco, all preventable, says Antman. The World Health Organization also reported a need for regulating e-cigarettes to minimize potential health risks around the world, due to chemicals considered to be toxins. In some cases at the personal level, using e-cigarettes to quit smoking regular cigarettes could be a net gain for a smoker who has heart disease. If an e-cigarette is used as part of a smoking cessation program, it could have benefit as a short-term bridge to abstinence, says Day. My worry is that e-cigarettes have been glamorized, and with this glamour we will soon see many more cases of heart disease in younger people. For individuals who are smokers, our recommendation is to try the cessation aids that have been approved and regulated by the FDA, gum, patches, etc., says Antman. If these don't work, then it's time to talk to your doctor about quitting and possibly considering e-cigarettes. Antman stresses two important cautionary notes. First, we don't know about e-cigarette safety in the long term. Second, e-cigarettes are not well regulated, and so we don't actually know what's in the products. Because of this, he recommends, avoid dual use of both cigarettes and e-cigarettes. Set a quick date to get off all forms of tobacco.